Well, good morning once again. This is me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting as usual from Haslingden, north of Manchester in the UK. Today is Monday the 15th of November 2010, and this is my vlog, my video reflection on the state of the world for today. When I first left school in 1959-60, I started work, first of all, in a little wine and spirit bottling plant for a few weeks before Christmas. Then in January I got a job with a firm of solicitors as what is called a probate clerk. And a probate clerk is somebody who deals with wills and estates. And I got the hang of this very quickly, and I was very good at it. And in a simple case, from the day a widow walked in with her husband's death certificate, life insurance policies and bank book and statements and things, I could normally deal with the entire business in 6 weeks. And that included getting the probate at the High Court in Liverpool, or letters of administration, as the case may be, whatever, whether there was a will or not, dealing with the accounts, getting all the money in and getting the case ready to pay the lady out. But when I took the file into the solicitor who dealt with it, he said, "We can't pay out in 6 weeks. They wouldn't believe we'd earned our fee." And he threw the file into the corner, and it stayed there until it was 6 months from the day the woman walked in. And then he paid out. Now, as soon as that happened, I said to myself, if this is the law, then I don't want to know, because there's no justice here. This is a game where rich guys, very well educated rich guys, take advantage of the poor. But in a sense, this is how business works. It is never totally honest, and it can't be totally honest. But what the solicitor was doing in the case I just mentioned was unethical to my mind, and I gave up the law very shortly afterwards. But this has come to my mind because of a story I read today in the New York Times. And it seems that our friends in the hedge funds and in the expensive money markets in America, and there are lots of guys out there making a lot of money, because there's a lot of money floating about. What they're up to now, they've discovered a new game. Instead of investing in property and giving mortgages to people who couldn't afford them, they have started to offer to lend money to lawyers to fight cases which otherwise the people taking the case to court could not afford. And it gave an example of a company, a railroad company in America, and I won't mention any towns or any names, but this particular railroad company had a factory in which it soaked the railway sleepers, the wooden railway sleepers, they call them ties, I think, in America, in creosote. And of course, creosote stinks, but it's very good for preserving wood. And this factory was there for many, many years, and it's still there, although it's more mechanized now than it was originally. And a few of the employees have contracted skin cancer. And they're trying to prove, by taking on the railways, by taking them to court, that this skin cancer was caused by their coming into contact with creosote. Now, normally these guys have got very little money, so taking on the railways would be an enormous risk and also an impossible expense. So the lawyers came up with the idea. They looked around and they found that there were several companies have started up specialising in lending money to lawyers. And what they offer to lawyers is this. They say to them, and it's a very tempting advert actually, you can borrow completely free if you, provided that you bill your clients for the interest. And they charge incredible amounts of interest, 17, 18, 19%. They do say we can't compete with the banks, but then the banks would probably not lend. But some of the banks are beginning to get interested in it because it can pay well. And these guys are in business to make money, and they don't really care how they make it. But anyway, there are pros and cons to this. Some lawyers say that this is unethical to borrow money on this scale. Others say that the poor guy who got skin cancer could never have fought the railway company without the help of these financial whiz kids. So we've come a long way from the solicitor's office I worked at in Warrington in the early 1960s. And while I'm talking about it, I'll just mention one piece of advice which was given to me then at that time. The young solicitor who dealt with the court cases said to me, "Never, never, never give a statement to the police." And his advice had a lot, was quite common sense really, because he said that the police service are there to take people to court for one crime or another. And if you walk blandly into a police station without thinking about it and make a statement, you might very well give them evidence to take you to court, even though you might think yourself to have been the innocent party. So be very cautious before you do. If you can, get some legal advice, but be very careful about the cost of it. So that's about it. Just one thing in passing. I see in the Daily Mail today that the House of Commons is employing a food taster. I can't understand the necessity for a food taster. Isn't it better to taste it yourself? But they're paying the guy £500 a day, while they're making the rest of us swallow deep cuts. Well, this is what happens when you vote Conservative, when you vote people in who are rich, who take advantage of the poor and employ food tasters at £500 a day. Well, that's about it. I've said enough for today. I'm sure you've had enough of my fizzog for the moment. So, cheerio for now. God bless, while it's still legal to say God bless in the UK. Take care. Take care.